Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hobby Lodge, and it is time for another Hit Squads update. I think in the last video I took you from 32 to 37 in my collection, and now today I'm going to add another 5 to the Hit Squads and take you from 37 to 42. But don't worry, I've got lots more to come. I can do this for many weeks at this point before we hit that inevitable wall where I slow down and only need a few to complete the collection. So yeah, let me crack on. I'll take you through the 5 games I've got. I'll put a bit of footage up for you so you can see them and give you a bit of chat. But the first one is number 1 in the arcade collection, number 1, and that is Enduro Racer. So there it is right there, and this is actually a cracking little game. I think in some of the other games I've talked about, racing games, they lack that sort of feel of speed, but Enduro Racer I think does that really well. Great great racing, jumps, dodging, just great sound. I really enjoy playing this great little racing game. I love doing the Superman off of the handlebars. But yes, Enduro Racer on the Commodore 64 Hit Squad, number 1 in the arcade. Done. We can put a tick in the box for that one. Right, the next up is, it's another sports game actually, but this time it is number 14 in the sports collection, and it is a very clean looking copy of Run the Gauntlet. Now this game, the first thing I'm going to say about this game is, my goodness, it's a heavy load. Oh, when you try and load this game up, I don't know if you can see, but there is a chunk of tape on there. It does take an awful long time to load through, but it's essentially made up of 4 different mini games, as it were. The one I think I'm showing you is the buggy racing, which actually is quite fun. Quite difficult, but quite fun to do. But yeah, you've got jet skiing on here. You've got motocross and some other sort of mini games on there. But just a very fun little sports game. But the problem is it takes quite a long time to load in for them what is quite a short bit of game. So yeah, that's probably the only downside to it. Probably one that if you were going to play it, I don't know if there ever was a disc copy of it, but that's probably the way to play it on the Commodore 64 with the discs. But yes, very happy to add it to the collection. Number 14 in the sports, Run the Gauntlet, and you can see there. So one of the things I'm doing, starting to pick up some new cases, and when you stick these in new cases, they look lovely. So yeah, that is one thing I am doing with some of these, probably all of them over time. Right, next up is, it's a classic. It's a childhood classic. I played this game to death when I was a kid, just over and over again, because it was such a good game. And it is Sly Spy on the Commodore 64. I don't know why I keep saying on the Commodore 64. You know this is all going to be Commodore 64, but just can't help saying it. But yeah, Sly Spy, love it. I love this game. I played it a lot when I was a kid. That initial scene of you dropping out of the sky, well, first of all, choosing to be an agent, and of course you always typed in 007. I don't know, what was other people's call signs when they played this game? I always did 007. I mean, it is James Bond, there's no two ways about it. I know there are actual James Bond games, but if this isn't James Bond, I don't know what is. Even the artwork on the front looks clearly like that is, James Bond on the front there. Maybe Pierce Brosnan or someone. But yes, fantastic game. If I was going to play it today, I probably wouldn't play the tape edition, because I do own the Night Moves box, and this is the disc collection. So in here, because it's a multi-load game between the different levels, you can do a lot of loading off the tape and rewinding and finding the bit you need to load, where on the tape system, on the disc system, it is much easier to play and much faster to play. But yeah, absolutely cannot fault with this game. It is number 49 in the arcade. I absolutely love it. It's a great game. It plays fantastically, and it is, on every system it came out for, I think it's a fantastic game. So really happy to add this to the one in the collection, because this one means a lot from when I was young. Next up, we've got another sports game, and much like the golf one I showed before, Nicholas Golf, I enjoyed that, but this is also a game that I wouldn't say I'm a fan of. I play it once in a while when I was a kid, but when there's a video game version of it, sometimes they can be really good. And this is one that's, I would say, is okay, and it is Pro Tennis Tour. That is number 18 in the sports, and yeah, again, a chunky load to get this up and running, but actually plays really well when you're in the game. You know, getting used to finding your position with the ball, the timing of swinging the bat, trying to outsmart your opponent across the other side of the net. I think it plays great for a Commodore 64 tennis game. It does the job. I mean, you know, would you fire up the Dreamcast and play virtual tennis or one of the other games on there? Probably. Yeah, this is a great 8-bit game on the Commodore 64 for a tennis game. They did really well to sort of pull off what they've done in this. So yeah, really happy to have this one. It's in the sports collection. It's number 18, and yeah, there we go. Now, last week we ended up on a big hitter, and actually a really good game. It was Skull and Crossbones we ended on, and there are some big hitters to come. Right, not in this video, I'm afraid. I'm going to end on a clanger, in fact. But there is definitely some big ones to come that I've managed to get hold of recently, and they will appear in videos. Some of the real sort of top tier games that are out there that are very difficult and very expensive to get hold of. But I'm going to have to end it on this one, because this is a shocker, and it shouldn't be, right? I mean, crikey, could you imagine if they did this well? But unfortunately, it is number 3 in the movie collection, and it is Top Gun. This could have been so good, and maybe some people out there like it, but I don't like it at all. The music's wrong. They could imagine the Sid chip doing some of the Top Gun music would have been amazing. And maybe I wasn't hearing it, but it definitely didn't sound like Top Gun to me. No Top Gun I've heard of. And then the actual gameplay, it looks cool when you first take off from the back of the battleship, but then when you get into the dogfighting, it's incredibly difficult to know what the hell you're doing. You're trying to match altitude with your opponent. You're trying to shoot them down, and it to me just doesn't work. It's a real shame. You know, and I know there is a bit of a curse of video game movie tie-ins, and I'm afraid this falls foul to it for me. Top Gun on the Commodore 64, the Hit Squad, it's no good. It's no good at all. But I am glad, obviously, it needs to go in the collection. It is part of the full set. It is number 3 in the movies, and yeah, very happy to have it. So yeah, there we go. That's the next 5 games. So we had Enduro Racer, Run the Gauntlet, Sly Spy Secret Agent, Pro Tennis Tour, and Top Gun. There we go. Sorry to have ended it on Top Gun, but you know, there's more to come. Next week there'll be even more updates, and maybe next week I'll do one of the big hitters. But you know, we've got to space it out. We've got to tease. We've got to make sure this is not just a run through very quickly to the end. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, thank you very much. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Give me your comments below. Anything you'd like me to do different as I'm walking you through these. Hopefully I'm giving you just enough of the game without the video going on for too long. All right. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. Loads of people have been helping out. It's been great fun picking out some of the games. It's been yeah, an enjoyable journey so far. So I'm looking forward to the next stage. Right, thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.